All right, someone tell me something good.
I reached out yesterday to my first lead and I just hooked him up with a lender today and we're going to meet in person as soon as we can. And in the meantime, I got a second lead that came in for my ad.
Yep. Isn't it amazing how when you show up for training, you do the activities, you get the results you want? Isn't it amazing how that works?
Yes,
That's amazing.
it's
I'll
awesome.
share.
Go for it, Melissa.
So I may have mentioned it to this group. I can't remember, but for the past year, my brother joined my team as my director of operations, and he's been telling me to do D2, DT, D2s forever. And finally, I started doing them a couple months ago. Um, I've been in business 20 years. We have about 20,000 people in my contact database. And there are people that I was reaching out to this week that I haven't touched, and I did a deal with them back in 2014.
Mm-hmm.
But they also, and I don't want to use the word but, and they reached back and said, thank you for reaching out, or, I found out something else about them. Just, even I didn't do what I was supposed to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this is where the Phil Jones conversation comes into play, like the easiest and best way. Everyone gets stuck on, I have no idea what to say. It's the most frustrating question I could ever get. And I think it's frustrating to me because like I don't overcomplicate what do you say next. I just have that conversation. And if you go to the Phil Jones, you have a great opening, like, hey, it's Tiffany. It's great to connect with you. Then do a mutually agreeable fact. The last time we talked, you were telling me about a listing opportunity. And then what is a really simple question that they can answer, right? And if it's something related to real estate, make it really simple. Have you moved forward with meeting with the lender? Right? Yes or no. Make it really simple. You hear a lot of times you have to have open-ended questions. When you're doing the opening statement, the mutually agreeable fact, and then an easy question, the easy question should be yes or no, right? And it takes all the stress out. Because how easy could it be? Is the last time we talked was 10 years ago. Can you believe it? The mutually agreeable fact is the last time you talked was 10 years ago. Can you believe it? Was the easy answer question, right? So let's just pay attention to that. All right. Anyone else have something they want to share? So we have spent the last 3 or 4 weeks talking about think like a million, and now we get to talk about earn like a million. And I love the earn like a million because this is where we really drive the business, right? We really drive the opportunity of what do we have to do? When do we have to do it? How do we have to do it? And my absolute favorite, the path is in the math. Everything we talk about, the path is in the math. To Stan's point, and Stan and I have been on this journey because Stan, how many months, weeks, days have you been in real estate? And you're on mute.
I joined Keller Williams on December 9th.
Okay, so December 9th, and then you and I started connecting at a higher level, and we've actually been saying, how do I get business?
In
And
January. Yeah.
yeah, and when did you start the process of your social media ads the way we discussed them?
2 weeks ago.
And how many lead opportunities have you gotten in 2 weeks?
Two solids.
And how much has it cost you?
I'm spending $20 a week.
Okay, and do you know what to say?
Yes.
Okay, why do you know what to say?
Because I was coached.
Thank you. So for anybody new on this screen, if you're not working with your mentor, your coach, or whomever, and for those that are listening to this recording, yes, I'm on high D personality today. Get with your coach, get with your mentor. You are losing money every day you do not take action. And that money that you're losing is impacting the life you desire to live. Okay, so stop it, stop it, stop it. So that's the think like a million, okay? Now we're gonna earn a million. So I'm gonna share my screen, hopefully find what I'm looking for. I am in Connecticut today. I am not at my computer. I do not have my second screen. So this is definitely weird for me. And I had it, now I don't have it. Let me unshare my screen and find it again. This is where you definitely have to be in the right place, doing the right things at the right time if you want to get to where you want to be. So I'm just gonna reopen the screen and get us to where we need to be. So far, this PowerPoint is 104 pages. And the really funny thing is I'm only halfway through. Okay, though, we'll get there. All right. How many of you read through the Think Like a Million? And I can't see your faces, so come off mute and tell me you've done it.
Me,
I haven't started reading yet, so I'm just auditing for now.
Melissa, you read it? Was it you, me? Good. And Stan, what you're gonna like about how I do this is I literally, like, people that run this presentation, they literally, a lot of times they just teach the book. We're going through the book and we're literally asking questions to make you think. So,
Yeah.
wow, how I need my second screen. Okay, now I cannot see your faces, so come off of mute if you have something to share, and don't make me call on you, please and thank you. All right, here we go. So let me make sure I'm at the right place. So we're earning $1 million. So the first thing, the science of success. This is page 119. Success in real estate is not accidental. It follows a scientific approach. Proven models and consistent execution are key to achieving financial milestones. Focus areas include, and this is ELBO, ELBO, economic model, lead gen, budget, and org model, right? So we're going to focus on economic model today and maybe get a little bit into lead gen model. We shall see. So the question and the reflection is, how well are you applying these models in your real estate business today? Now, whether you've read the book or not, you're part of KW. You have heard the 4 models: economic, lead gen, budget, and org model. Some of you are in different places in your business. I'd love to hear, what have you run so far? This is where you come off of mute and don't make me call on you.
so
You've
we,
all done some type of economic model.
yeah, we've broken down our, well, Mark and I both have our own goals, but together as a team, we have one goal for the both of us. And we've each broken it, well, we've broken up the total goal into buyers and sellers, because that's how we work our team. And then we find out what percentage of those buyers and sellers we need to get. And again, we may be in a different price point than some of the others on this call, but how much we need to, how many appointments we need, and then how many calls we need to make to get to that. So we broke it down when we were in the business planning clinic, and literally it's probably close to 3 appointments a week.
Exactly.
Seems like a lot, yet between the two of us, it's not really a lot.
Right. Well, and when you think about it, you work, for those that are full-time, and this is their one thing, you're working 40 hours a week. This is your one thing. This is your business. I always ask the question, and I passionately stand by it. I ask myself this question: if I were my own boss, would I fire myself for the activities I did today? And if the answer is yes, what do I need to do differently tomorrow? If the answer is no, then kudos, good job for me. I did what I needed to do to move the business forward. I'm going to start a whole series of the mindset shift from W-2 to 1099, because we are not born with this mindset of I am my own boss. If I were to be my own boss and look at my activities as an employee, would I fire myself? That question is a game changer. So if you do nothing else during this call, please ask that question, because that will change the directory. So that was economic model that Melissa really explained. Then you have the lead gen model. How do you have those real estate conversations? Then you have the budget model, which is playing green light, red light with your money, and then you have your org chart, which at this point in time, Tina, close your ears. Claude AI, Claude is my employee, right? Because Claude is literally doing the job of a lot of what an assistant would do in the building of the content of what I do. So your org chart not only is people in your life, it is also the tools and resources that you need. Right now, with everything I have going on, I need AI and I need Tina, I need myself, and I'm bringing in family to do the real estate business, and they're going to do the lead gen piece, right? So that's how we're rolling this out. But org chart is not only people, it's the systems and the tools. And you go there before you go to people. So applying the science of success. To achieve consistent results, agents must regularly evaluate their implementation of key models. Consider the impact of focus, discipline, and accountability in achieving long-term goals. So the reflection question on this is, what specific changes can you make to better align with these models and drive success? So using Melissa as an example, are you having the conversations that you need to have to reach the economic model? What if you were to change one thing in your business, what would it be that you would need to change? Okay, all of those things are where you focus. For those that this is your first call, I do send out the slides. Tina will send them out after this call to everyone's on the call, so you can actually go through these reflection questions. So why do models matter, right? Models are crucial tools for achieving success. The right models align with your goals and lead to high achievement. Top achievers follow big models that focus on the 20% of activities that generate 80% of the results. How can you identify and implement the right models to support your goals? This is where I get on my soapbox and say, do not go get creative and create your own systems and models. Just use the ones that we're teaching you and training you. Those are proven, repeatable systems and models that actually work. So I would love to hear from one person other than Melissa. How can you identify and implement the right models to support your goals? What is one way you could do that?
Being in this class.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Jacqueline. So then repeating the 4 fundamental models, we have economic model defines key financial metrics to achieve a net income goal. This is your profit, okay? We are not in business for anything other than to make profit. I'm going to say this and you can beat me over the head. I don't really care. We are not in the business to help people. We are in the business to make profit. Helping people is how we get there, okay? Lead generation model, a systematic approach to generating leads, right? If you're part of 24 and 25, there are 7 key ways to lead generate. What 2 systems and models are you using? For those that are not in the program, they are networking, strategic data, social media mining, social media, seminars, open houses, and the 7th one, and geographic farm. Okay. Those are all your lead generation models. Then you have your budget model, right? And if you don't have this, send me an email, tiffanyhampton@kw.com. We actually have a chart of accounts to make sure that you are staying within budget and you're managing. It literally tells you if your goal is to make 150,000 in profit, this is how much money you should be spending in each one of the categories. Then you have organizational model, help structure your team for growth. Organizational model starts with systems and tools, AI, and virtual assistant opportunities. Then it goes to people that you work with on the team, showing assistants, buyer agents, and as you grow your team, you add to that. Which of these models do you need to focus on the most to grow your business? This question really is based on where you are in the business and how many years and how far along. So for someone that's newer, you may be focused on the lead generation model, right? Everyone should be focused on the economic model, no matter how long you've been in the business. Everyone should be focused on the budget model so that you're playing red light, green light with your money. And then the org model, systems and tools, yes, but who you're putting people-wise, that depends on where your business is.
I'll share something, Tiff. This is
Absolutely.
the first year in all of my 20 years of business, and I'm a pretty smart person, but it's the first year I've actually put a budget together, because I have to pay a salary. I've got to pay all kinds of different things within my business based on that business budget model. And sometimes you just go out there and you spend and you don't realize that, like, if we're doing, just say we're doing postcards to try and get sellers to have us do a market equity report. If I hit my budget of sending out so many postcards in May, I can't send any more out. So we actually do the budget model for the whole year, month by month.
Yeah.
The first time I've done it.
Yeah. And I guarantee you'll be more profitable because you're doing it.
I will see in a couple of weeks how I did.
Absolutely. So applying the models to achieve success, right? Each model contributes to overall business performance. Melissa, FYI, January is a light month. It's so don't judge everything you're doing by January. Give it a couple of months. A structured approach ensures scalability and profitability. Focus on optimizing each model step by step, right? And I've said this before, you don't go to classes just for the sake of going to classes. You go to classes to learn what you need to learn at the moment that you are in business. Coming to this Millionaire Real Estate Agent Book Club, this fits wherever you are in business, because everyone needs to have this in place, right? So when it says focus on optimizing each model step by step, what training is going on in your market center right now or in KW as a whole that you should be attending? Right? What specific action can you take today to better apply the models in your business? For some of you, it's you got to know the models. For others of you, it's you got to actually run the models that you know and have known for years, right? All right, so the 4 models overview. The 4 models provide a roadmap for building a successful real estate business. These models help agents focus on the most critical aspects of their business. I want you to think of McDonald's, and I want you to think of car dealerships, and I want you to think of gyms. The most successful companies, they have models that they focus on and they work. McDonald's does not make Wendy's French fries at McDonald's. They do not make steak fries at McDonald's. They have a system and a model that they follow. So what I want you to think about when you're doing your reflection is how can you apply these models and create a stable and scalable business? This business, and Melissa, you could definitely attest this business can be inconsistent if you don't do the right activities. And we don't want an inconsistent business. We want a scalable and stable business. So now the economic model. This is the path is in the math, people. The path is in the math. Know what numbers you must hit, right? We know in order to do 24 transactions in today's market is 366 people in your database with a health score of 80%. That's on a 48 touch. We know it's 3,600 real estate conversations between now and September 30th. We know that for every 1 listing, there's 2 additional pieces of business. So in order to hit 24, you want 8 listings. You do each one of those, you get 300% to goal. So the question on financing is, what key financial goals should you focus on to achieve your income targets? This is very much the life allocation form. And I'm going to throw a lot of things because I'm really passionate about the economic model. It gets you where you desire to be. So if I mention a form that you know nothing about, send me an email, I will get it to you. In order to create an economic model, you actually have to do a life allocation form. And if life allocation form gives you what are your goals and dreams for the next 10 years and how much money do you need to make that happen this year, right? How much money this year do you have to make for those 10 years goals, those 5-year goals, those 1-year goals? How much money do you need to run your business? And how much money do you need to run your personal life? When you know those financial goal numbers, then you can turn around and say, okay, now I can run my business numbers to get to that dollar amount. So the lead generation model, prospect and market effectively, right? I just said in order to hit 24 transactions, your goal is to have 3,600 real estate conversations. So how do you do that? That is under the lead generation model. You set up a database and market to it. You focus on taking seller listings, because when you do seller listings right, for every one piece of business, you get 2 additional pieces of business. Your reflection question around this is, how can you enhance your lead generation efforts to increase business opportunities? Then your budget model, lead with revenue, right? If you're not making any money, you should not spend any money. Just the way it is. You have basic business expenses that you have to pay, but you do not have the luxury of going out and spending $500 on a one-time lead gen campaign to a neighborhood that you A, can't afford, and B, you're not going to duplicate, right? So follow the red light, green light. Stop. Should I be doing this? Does it make sense? Stick to a defined budget to maximize profitability. That's what Melissa talked about. She knows what her budget is for this year. And the question is she going to stay on task with it? And when she does, is her business more profitable or less profitable? And if it's less profitable, does she need to amp up the lead generation portion of her business? What adjustments can you make to ensure financial discipline in your business? This is a big one. And I'm going to unshare my screen for 30 seconds because I have to see the faces when I ask this question. And if you're on black screen and you can come off and put yourself on, that would be hugely, I love talking to black screens, just so you know. And that's sarcasm for those that don't know me well. So at the end of the day, do you manage your money or do you just spend money? And I will talk from personal experience in my life. There have been times in my life that I made $5,000. I spent $5,000. I didn't align it to anything. I just went out and spent it. Spent it before I paid taxes. I'm being brutally honest. And you know what happened? In my life, making $5,000, that tax liability was $1,500. So I really didn't make $5,000. I only made $3,500 less expenses, not getting too technical. So when you look at your money, are you truly making sure that you are living in the 5 buckets? And if you need another book to read after this one, Profit First, it's a great book to understand money. Are you really living in the 5 buckets? You have your emergency fund, you pay yourself, you have your business money, you have your tax liability, and you have your investment account. Do you have all of that in place? And I feel like I'm preaching today, but it needs to be done. The other thing is, do you have a separate bank account for your business? I can't tell you how many humans do not have a separate bank account for their business. And don't raise your hand. I don't want to know, but effective immediately, go open up. And I don't care if you're an LLC or just open up a separate bank account and put all your checks. Because when you commingle money, you're not running a business and it gets really muddy. And at the end of the year, not only is it a nightmare trying to file taxes, but if you ever got audited, it's not pretty. Don't do it. Just don't do it. Okay, that's it. I'm done off. That soapbox is gone. Okay. So when you look at the organizational model, when you're doing all you can do, hire administrative help, right? What's really cool about today's life is you have systems and models that have already been created. You have AI, you have virtual assistants, then go hire somebody in person, right? So how can you build a team that aligns with your business goal? And I will also say, and I know Jacqueline and Kayla are on here, you also build a community. So you don't have to make the hires. If you really need to give business, you can have a whole referral system. If you don't ever want to run a team, you don't have to. You can literally say, hey, I don't have time for this buyer or seller, or I'm at max capacity. Would you take it? And now you're making money instead of paying money for business. It's a beautiful thing. So the issues in numbers. And I took these directly out of the book. This book was written in 2010, 2012. These numbers no longer are accurate because most markets you can't buy a house for 250. Most markets, the average sale price is 400 and change. So when you're looking at these numbers were based on 2010, 2012, and you literally want to make sure that you're updating it to what your average sale price is. The concept is the same, okay? So here's the concept. In order to net $1 million in 2010, 2012, you had to do 320 closings with this average sale of 250. So all my friends that are doing $900,000 sales, you are ahead of the game. So that means you would need to make $2.4 million in GCI because cost of sale will be 700,000 and operating expenses will be 700,000. So this is, in order to make $1 million net, you're obviously going to have a team. Who can tell me, and Melissa, I know you know this answer, so hold off before you answer it. Who can tell me the difference between cost of sale and operating?
I'm going to assume that cost of sale is how much, like what my percentage is coming out. And the other one is, you have to ask me again because I lost it.
Yep, there you go. Did I freeze?
I think I froze.
I think I froze. All right, so my question is, what is the difference between cost of sale and operating expenses?
The operating expenses is what it costs me to operate my business every single day. My gas to get me to my buyers, my printer paper. I don't have very many expenses. I'm just using my expenses. My printer paper, the cost of my internet so that I can get on to the computer and use the computer. My computer was a cost for my business. That was my operating expense. That was my operating expense.
Okay.
The other one I'm going to assume is my percentage that's coming out.
Yep, so it's your company dollar,
Mm-hmm.
royalty, it's any referrals you pay, and any splits. Like
Okay.
if you're on the team, any splits. So right on the money, good job. If I freeze, I'm in a market center that I'm not normally in, so I apologize in advance if I freeze. You probably heard me being too heated and it's like, okay, be quiet. Okay, so that's that. So now, based on what we just talked about, this is the monthly goals, right? And again, we're talking about $1 million net. So 27.73 seller listing appointments, 25.53 buyer listing appointments. Anyone that does not have the economic model Google worksheet, send me an email, put your info in the chat. Tina and I will get it to you, because these numbers are based on doing $1 million net. And I want you to build numbers based on what you desire to do. Because some of you, your goal may be 40 units. Some of you, your goal is 85 units. Some of you, your goal is 6 units. Each one of those numbers gives you a different number of appointments every single month, week. Then we have organizational model key hires, right? The critical roles to scale. Here is the main point. Before you hire a buyer agent or a listing agent, it's 2 administrative hires and then a showing assistant. After you do that, then you start looking at who else do I need to hire to the team. Breakdown cost, right? 29.2% cost of sales, 29.2% operating expenses. Breakdown of key expenses categories. If you are making more than $80,000 a year net to you, you should talk to an accountant. The accountant may recommend that you put yourself into an LLC and an S Corp and pay yourself a salary. Okay. The reason why I would do that is because if you were to replace yourself, you've already started paying that salary to replace yourself, right? The lead generation, what are you doing lead generation wise? And how much does it cost? Do you have office space? What technologies do you need? Right? So the question that you're going to ask yourself after this is, how can you optimize your budget to increase profit? And the answer is spend less. And there's lots of ways to spend less. So pages 124 through 127, they talk about building a solid foundation, right? And this is, a lot of you, if you haven't read the book, you'll see in the book there's an upside down triangle and then a triangle on the right axis. The upside down triangle is when you put creativity before models. The triangle does not survive. It falls over when you put creativity over models. I am not saying don't be creative. I am just saying build your business on the systems and models that have been proven and repeatable for the last 50, 60, 100 years. Then get creative, okay? You want clear blueprints, you want solid framework, and you want proven systems. So this question, don't answer it out loud. Is your business built on a solid foundation of proven models, or is it a patchwork of ideas? I don't want you to answer it because I already know the answer for 95% of the entire real estate population, okay? So then we have the hobo shack or the house. This is like one of my favorite stories in this book. So the hobo shack was built on creativity and ideas and lacked structure and consistency. And I'm going to say, as a Mainer, I've seen a lot of hobo shacks out there that are built on creativity and lack structure and consistency, right? A house is built on proven models and stability and long-term success, right? So how do you want to build your business? Which approach are you currently following, and how can you transition to a more stable model? Many of you just have to get out of your own way and know that you have to be uncomfortable to reach the results you want. So creativity versus models. Models provide a proven path to success. Creativity should come after mastering the foundational models. You're all on here, you are learning the foundational models. You're reading the book, right? I don't care that the book is 22, 23, 24 years old. The models and systems are correct. How we do them just looks a little bit different right now. So how can you ensure your creativity aligns with proven models for success? Are you actually taking time? And I could say, folks like Stan and the people that are coming to my classes, those folks are looking, okay, what's the model I need to put into place? Those that are mentoring with people that have gone before them, those folks are looking at what models do I need for success, and then they're putting them into place. So stay on track, right? Avoid the temptation to reinvent the wheel. This one here, oh, I know personally, I love to reinvent the wheel, and I have to stop it, right? I have to stop being creative. You want to use models as a roadmap to guide decisions, and you want to regularly evaluate and adjust based on results. So, and I like to use examples. Stan, I'm going to use your example. So, and I'm going to give Stan a lot of grace because he's brand new and he's doing the activities to get him into business, and I'm really proud of him. So Stan, he was on a call. We were talking about his Facebook ad and what he was doing, and we were talking about he was educating people, which is what we're supposed to do. And I said, well, what if we did this one little tweak, which was start with the problem and ask a question, right? So he's still giving the education, but he's starting with the problem and he's asking a question. The minute he made that switch, was like less than a week ago at this point, he's got 2 opportunities. And
It happened the next day that I got my first opportunity. So.
Well, there you go. So, and here's my thing. When we go back to the budget model, when we were looking at the budget model, he was spending money, not seeing the result. So he made a quick switch of his business, and now he's seeing the results, and his money is like, he's paid $40, and I'm assuming you paid $40. If you close 2 transactions off of $40, like that return on investment of time and money is huge. So again, kudos to you for following the systems and models and everyone else that's doing that as well. So learning from experience, which is, we just kind of talked about this a little bit. When we look at Warren Buffett, right? Warren Buffett says he understood that success comes from being a true student of models, not just being familiar with them, right? He regularly consulted different editions of security analysis to gain new insights, which means he kept researching. And the right models can lead to long-term sustainable success. The other thing, like if you look at the way anyone investment, but specifically Warren Buffett, he made his money in like the last years, not the beginning years, because the beginning years was when he was building the systems and models, learning and really growing. He didn't stop. He kept doing what he needed to do. And because of that, now he's a billionaire, right? If he decided, oh, that doesn't work, I'm going to get creative, the end result would not have been what he saw. So what business models have you adopted and how can you deepen your understanding of them? And I would say this one really falls under the lead generation piece, right? Like what business models around network have you adopted and what do you need to learn around them? What models have you adopted around social media and what do you have to have a deeper understanding of them? And there's plenty of resources to get the understanding of it. You just have to go out and do it. And I've shared this with a lot of people this week, which is worth sharing. The one thing, so, and I'm a Gen Xer. So I was the one who was born when I was a kid. I looked at encyclopedias. I remember I wrote a school paper on whales, on sharks, and on Dorothy Hamilton. I'm remembering this from when I was a kid. And when I did all that, I did it through encyclopedias, right? Well, then the internet comes around and Google's a thing. And now I could turn around and I could go to Google and I could say, hey, I'm looking to do this. Give me all the articles, and millions of articles come up. Then the 2024, 2023 came in and now AI's become a thing, right? So what I want you to keep thinking about is when some of us were kids, we were going through encyclopedias. When some of us were kids, we were going through Google. And now some of us as still kids, we are now going through AI to get the answers. So technology gives us the answers. There is zero reason in life that we don't know the answer, okay? We just have to go out and get it. Don't let I don't know stand in your way of reaching the results that you need to reach, because I don't know isn't acceptable in today's society. And the other thing, I'm going to get on soapbox for 30 seconds again. The other thing is, well, nobody told me. That is not an acceptable thing either, because you just have to ask great questions. So what are the great questions we ask our clients? What are the great questions we need to ask about our business? Okay. So application to real estate, right? Success in real estate requires discipline and following proven models. One thing that we are not as humans is disciplined. Many of us are not anyway. Just like investing, real estate agents should focus on refining and improving their approach through continuous learning and application. Implementing models with fidelity ensures consistent, measurable growth. So how can you ensure that you are consistently applying proven real estate models in your business? And the answer truly is research. So understanding the four models, the four fundamental models. These models serve as a foundation for a successful real estate career. Following these models provides a structured approach to growth and profitability. How can applying these four models create a more predictable and scalable business? What I want you to think about with this is, before today, how intimately familiar were you with ELBO, economic, lead gen, budget, and org chart? And moving forward, how knowledgeable should you be about them? So the economic model defines how your business generates and manages revenue, right? You focus on gross revenue sources, expenses, expense control, and net income goals. And the question is, and again, this is not a question I want you to shake your head yes or no to, because nobody needs to know. Are you tracking your financial performance effectively to achieve your goals? And if you're not, January 31st is tomorrow. This is a great time to start. In the lead generation model, this is the whole thing, right? We know to do 24 transactions, we have to have 3,600 real estate conversations before September 30th. So how close to, like, well, and let's just do the math. So January, it's so good that, like, literally, so if I take my calculator out and I take 3,600 divided by 9, in the month of January, we should have had 400 conversations if we were going to do 24 transactions. So everyone on this call, the goal was to get to that point. Did you have 400 conversations? And then to do 24 transactions times 3, 72. Over the course of 1 year, you needed to have 72 appointments, and those appointments need to be had before the end of October. So if we divide that by 10, the month of January, did you have 7.2 appointments, which will round up to 8? So that's 2 a week. Are you going on 2 appointments a week to get to 24 transactions? So the components in the lead gen model is prospecting and marketing, right? When this book was written, it was marketing-based, prospecting enhanced. Today, it's prospecting-based, marketing enhanced. So those 400 real estate conversations, that's what we call prospecting. Are you building and nurturing a database? So we know to get to 24 transactions, you have to have 366 people in your database with a health score of 80% that you're talking to every 7.5 days. And why is it every 7.5 days? Because each day, we as humans connect with 60,000 thoughts and pieces of information. So if we don't have a strong relationship with those 366 people, after 7.5 days, they start forgetting about us. That's where the systematic follow-up comes into play. There is no point of lead generating if you're not going to follow up, period. So the question is,
the thing about follow-up is you are adjusting to what they told you last time you talked to them. So how are you going to systematize the timing when everybody is different?
So number one, we're talking 2 different follow-ups. Number one, everyone in your database should be on a 48 touch, which means every 7.5 days they're having a conversation. The other follow-up that you're talking about, if somebody told me that, so next week I will take 5 minutes out of this call and I will walk you through a system that I use to do follow-up. I use command opportunities for all of my follow-up. Okay. So if I have, so to have 24 people, 24 closings, you need 72 people that have raised their hand and said, I'm thinking of buying or selling real estate. Okay. So knowing that fact, to manage 72 people is a lot of people to manage. So you have to have a system and a model to do it. And next week I will spend 5-10 minutes walking you through the system and the model.
Okay. Thank you.
That being said, if somebody tells me that they want to, and there's a huge difference. There's a question of, do you want to close in April, or do you want to start looking in April, or do you want to put your house on the market in April? Because if they say they want to close in April, you're going to start talking to them in like February, right? Which means in January, you're calling them weekly, giving them an update of what the market's doing and seeing how they're doing and when they want to start the process. If they turn around and say, well, I'm going to move, I changed my mind. I think I really want to wait until September. So then I'm going to push them out in my opportunities from April till September. And then I'm going to still continue to have a 48 touch, which for those that do any training with me, the 48 touch is literally 444, 12, right? And we'll go over that next week as well. You're always in front of them, so they won't forget about you if they change their
Yeah.
mind. And that's
So the
just for people
48
that-
is really a must, no matter what.
correct.
That's what you're saying. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then
Okay.
the follow-up is just dependent on what they're looking to accomplish.
Okay. Makes
Okay.
sense. Okay.
All right. So what lead generation strategies are you consistently implementing? This is a great question and a self-discovery question, because are you throwing 20 things at the wall and seeing what sticks the first week of January, and then the second week of January, you're only doing 1, and then the third week of January, you're doing 2, and then the fourth week of January, you're doing 0? Like, there's a reason we talk about a 3-legged stool, which is database is 1 leg, and then there's 2 additional lead generation systems or models that you should be running. And by running those systems or models, you're literally growing the lead gen source, and you're not saying, oh, this doesn't work, right? So going back to the 24 transactions, it's 3,600 conversations. If your 3-legged stool is database, networking, and social media, between those 3, are you getting 3,600 conversations? And if you're not, what strategies and lead generation do you need to change? Or do you need to add or take away? But if you're not consistent, you don't know any of those answers. Any questions around that? I think I'm going to stop here. I'm going to walk you through how I use command opportunities to manage pipeline, and answer any questions, because there was a lot there, and I want to make sure that if you have questions, they get answered. I had a very strong personality today, so it felt a little intense on my side. So I want to make sure you're all whole. Don't be afraid to come off mute. I don't bite, I promise.
I understand a lot more of what you're saying now than what I did 6 months ago.
Good.
6 months ago, this all was gibberish and the book made no sense to me. But I get it now.
Good. Yeah. And I will tell you, I've done many of MREA book clubs. I literally am going through page by page, because I was going to do what I typically did. And I was like, well, if I do what I typically do I want the typical results? Because I wasn't satisfied with those results, and I don't. So that's why we're doing it this way. So hopefully you are understanding it better and you're getting better opportunity. All right. I'm going to share my screen. And I'm going to, hey, why did you do that? I really need to be on my home computer. Okay. So I'm going to go into command, and I'm going to show you how there's an agent that used to call this moving the boxes, and I really like that. So if you go into command and you go into opportunities, and for those that are newer or don't use command, you have this red KW, it gives you all the applet names. If you go into opportunities, there's this one section called cultivate, right? And both buyers and sellers have this section. And so I'm just going to start here. What people don't know is that you can actually change your stages and your checklists, right? So I've created like all these different stages, and I'm just going to show you, because we are now in January, right? So I'm going to create a stage that says 2026 sellers. So anybody that's a 2026 seller, they're going to fall under there. And now I'm just going to update these. So if they were a January 2025 buyer, I'm going to put them in that box. If they were a January 2026 or February 2025 seller, I'm going to put them here. So essentially, I create January through December in these, and then I put 2026 sellers. So now when I go back here, the reason why I do this is because let's just say that I have this person here who wants to put their house on the market in March. Okay, and pretend this says 2025. I will update it. So now I'm looking at, okay, it's time for me to do lead follow-up. Let's say I had 75 people in here and I had 6 people that said that they were going to list in January, but they never listed. I'm going to call those 6 people here and then I'm going to move them. So let's say this person was like, I'm going to list in January. I pick up the phone, I call them and I say, hey, it's January. You know, we talked about putting your house on the market. I was going to come out in December. I know things changed. When are you thinking about putting your house on the market? When I answer that question, and they tell me, you know what, I'm going to wait till April. So then I just literally move them to April. So now we put them right in, saying, can't, won't, nope, don't want to do it. We're going to move them here. So now they're in April. So to the question that was asked about, how do I make sure I never drop pipeline? Use that cultivate, create January through December 2025, create 2026. And then as you're getting closer to 2026, you're going to just start moving people to the months in 2026. If you all make it a habit of every single week, day, whatever it is, whenever you're doing lead follow-up, if you make it a habit of putting the people that raised their hand and said, I'm going to buy or sell real estate, and you put them in the timeline, you will never drop the ball. Because people that say that they're 6 months out, you're going to reach out to them every month. People that say they're 3 months out, you're going to reach out to them every couple of weeks. People that say they're 90 days out, you're going to reach out to them, or 60 days out, 30 days out, whatever it is, you're going to reach out to them weekly. It gives you the mindset of, okay, this person said this time, so now I know that I need to reach out to them at this time. So use your resources, play with that. If you want to do a deeper class, we can absolutely do a deeper class on it. We don't use opportunities to the level we could. A lot of people say, I just use opportunities to get paid. That's fantastic and great, but opportunities give you an opportunity not to lose money. Go ahead, Kelly.
Going into that section every day, or so how would I not forget to go there? Like,
You have to create a habit of when you are lead follow-upping, because every day you should have lead follow-up for at least 45 minutes. Now you need to create the discipline of my lead follow-up is in command under opportunities. And then you have to make sure that you are actually putting the people in there. So again, what's the system or model that you're following? Melissa.
So I don't use that under opportunities. If I'm in a contact, can I move them without retyping them in that opportunity, or does it?
So what I would do is I would create, number one, anyone that raised their hand and said that they're going to buy or sell real estate, you should have they should be in your context, but you should create a opportunity for them as well. So what I would do, and I'm in my contacts. So let's just pretend that I'm buying, which I am, I'm buying in August. When I go here, I'm going to go to opportunities. I'm going to create an opportunity. And I'm going to put, you know, what market center, right? And then I'm going to put, are they a buyer or a seller? And then I'm going to go down here, what's the time frame, right? And we're going to say 12 months. You have to fill this in, so put anything, commissions are negotiable. We're going to change it, cultivate here. And then I'm going to say, okay, this person is 2026 seller. So now I've never left my contacts, but I just put this person in as a cultivate as a 2026 seller. So now if I were to go into my opportunities, because it's time to do my lead follow-up, I'm going to go ahead into my cultivate, and that person will show up in my 2026 sellers. So I would absolutely do it. You're not recreating anything. You're just creating an opportunity. And honestly, I don't know about New Hampshire, but I know pretty much every other state on here, there's a mandatory disclosure once you have a substantial conversation about real estate. So you need to have that documented anyway, so you should have an opportunity having that in there as well. So it kind of kills
Thank
two
you.
birds. Nancy, you're off mute. Did you have something?
Yeah, I was just going to say thank you for that, because we're new to Keller Williams. We've been in the business though for a few years, and I've been struggling with how to work with command in terms of cultivation, and you just did it for me. So
Yeah.
that's wicked cool. So now all of the contacts that I just had uploaded into my system, now I can organize those, and now I can get to work better.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. And I used to do it different ways. I would do it by how did they come in? So like you'll see in there, I had RPR and open houses. No, like I literally timeline. That's what I want to create it based on. All right. On a scale of 0 to 10, how good did I do in delivering some type of value to you today?
10.
10.
I will see you next. Go ahead.
But I have a question.
Okay. I got 60 seconds. Go for it.
Or at risk to ask a crazy question. Does Command help synchronize with calendar or something like that? Is there an option to do that? Like to manage our schedule as well?
That's a much deeper question, which we can go over next week. You're going to use your Google Calendar.
Yeah.
And you're going to put all your activities into tasks or into follow-up in opportunities. Yes, the answer is yes.
Yes.
And I feel like we need to do a tech meeting. So maybe we will do a tech class on all the cool things that I've learned in my years at KW that will help you run your business.
That'd be great.
Awesome. That will
Good.
help me. Yes.
What page do
All
we
right.
need to read? Because a couple of people that couldn't make it today wanted me to find out.
Yeah,
for
so
them.
we are right now we're under Think a Million, which goes to page 214. We're
Perfect.
probably going to be in there. I'm sorry, Earn a Million. We're probably going to be in Earn a Million for the next 2 weeks. So we'll probably be up to page 214.
All right. Thank you.
See y'all next week.
Thank
Have a
you.
good
Thank you very
Bye.
much.